Hello everyone, and welcome to the Foxit Phantom PDF Overview Demo webinar. This webinar is targeted to new users who want to quickly ramp up in learning how to use Phantom PDF. So we will review the most popular workflows that our customers perform, but before we do that, we'll first look at navigating through Phantom PDF. Phantom PDF uses the Microsoft Office ribbon technology for its user interface. So hopefully for most of you, this will be a familiar look and feel. And so what the ribbon is you look at the top of the software on your screen, you will see that the functions of Phantom PDF are divided into a number of tabs, right? Organized groups, and they are represented by these graphical objects. Okay, and so in the Home tab, these are the most frequently used functions. If we go to Convert tab, we see how we can create PDF as well as export PDF. The Edit tab, how we can modify the content of a PDF document. Organize. Here we do things like move pages around, delete them, move pages from one PDF file to another, rotate, crop, put on watermarks, headers, and footers. The comment section or tab, or also known as annotation, is how we can either provide feedback to an author on the document or to do things like take notes if we're in a conference or a classroom. The View tab talks about different viewing options. Form is how to create your own interactive PDF form. Protect actually does many things. One of it is to encrypt the document, also to sign a document. Connect is using Foxit's connected PDF technology to do things like protect a document, collaborate with others in a connected review, to share a document, and we'll show you that more later in the demonstration. And then lastly, share. Okay, share is for the most part connecting with third-party content management systems in order to work with other users across the enterprise. And so let's start now with the workflows. And the typical workflows that people want to do is create a PDF. Okay, very, very popular. And so there's typically two ways to create a PDF. Either to scan a hard copy into PDF or to convert another file format. And then we'll do other things like show you how to create portfolios and so forth. So let's first start with scan documents. And so if I had a scanner hooked up to my laptop here, which I don't, but if I did, I would go into Convert and then hit the look at the Create area and say Create from Scanner. And here I'd be able to select the scanner that I want if I have more than one scanner. Okay, and then I can choose my options. And the one that you should be most concerned about is resolution. Basically, the higher the resolution, the more crisper the scanned document or pages will be. However, also the bigger the file size will be. And so you want to make a trade-off between crispness of the scan and file size. However, one of the things that you can remember is after you scan in a document, you can always go in and compress it using Phantom PDF later on. And so I already have a scanned document here. And so after we scan in a document, we have one or two options. If we're just going to archive the document for read-only purposes, then we're basically done after we scan it in. We save it as a PDF and we're finished. However, most people want to perform additional operations on that document afterwards. Like, for example, if you want to update the document, you only have it in hard copy, you want to scan it in and do things like edit it, or you want to make it searchable, where search engines will be able to look within the document, the text within the document, and help you find those based on search criteria. And so in order to do those type of functions, you have to do something called OCR. OCR stands for Optical Character Recognition. And basically what that does is when you scan something in, it's an image. It's like taking a photograph of it. And so OCR will look in that image and try to find letters, words, sentences, paragraphs, etc., and convert them over to text. And so you can do things like, again, search it, edit it, cut and paste it. And so let's show you how to OCR. And so here's the OCR button within my Convert tab. I choose that and I say Current File. And so we only have one page, so I'm just going to say Current Page. And I just want to make sure that it identified the language correctly. It did. It's in English. And so the language is important to be able to identify words and letters. I'm also going to make this editable, okay, so we can edit the text later. So I hit OK, and you can see in the right-hand portion of my screen, you see it working on the document. And after the OCR is over, you can also see that it kind of cleaned up the scanned image as well. And so one thing that I can do is I can go into Select Text, okay, and now I can actually cut and paste this information, right? So I just go Control-C, using Windows Copy, and then I can open up something like Word and go Control-V, and now I have cut and pasted that information. Without OCR, I wouldn't be able to do that. The other thing that I can do is edit the document. So I hit the Edit tab, hit Edit Text, okay, and I point to where I want to do my edit, and here I can do any replacement of text that I want to. We'll get into more advanced editing later in the demonstration, but real quick, I have a hard copy. I want to cut and paste it. I want to make it searchable. I want to edit it, so therefore you want to perform OCR. And now I can save it, and now I have the updated version of my document in soft copy, which I can now distribute. So that is creating a PDF from a scan document, right? And so let's do the more likely workflow that you have is creating a PDF from another file format. And so if you're using Microsoft Office, so Word, PowerPoint, Excel, when you install Phantom PDF, it'll automatically install a plugin if you have those applications. And so here's the plugin right here, Foxit PDF. And so you may be wondering, well, I can do a save as within Word and create a PDF, and you can. However, using the Foxit PDF tab in the technology, there's a lot more options and things that you can do. So here's the tab, so I can say create PDF. I can create an email all in one step. I can also merge it into an existing PDF. I can also do a redaction. So for those of you in, say, government, what you can do is create a PDF and redact at the same time, right? So you can share the majority of the document, but keep some information private. I also have some advanced options here, where I can put in watermarks when I create, I can add headers and footers, I can put security on it, I can create bookmarks, all these things that I can do in the Phantom tab, and which I can't do just by saving it as a PDF, either in Office or many other applications. Okay, so lots of different options that I have here to create PDF. Okay, I can also, for those of you who are somewhat old school, you can use what's called the print driver. So I go into print, and instead of printing to a physical printer, I can use the Phantom PDF printer. I can choose that and then hit print, and instead of going to a physical printer, it'll create a PDF of that document. And so I can create PDF from any application using the print driver. So let me close that up for now. I can go back into my Phantom application. I can go into File, and I can do a create here. So I can create from a file. Okay, I can even do things from clipboard, web page I'll show you in a few minutes. Lots of different ways that I can create PDF here. But instead, what I'm going to do, because I am a kind of a drag and drop kind of guy, I am going to take that Word document that we looked at before, and I'm just going to drag it and drop it on top of Phantom PDF, and that'll automatically create the PDF of that Microsoft Word document. And so no matter which one of those options that you chose, you will come out with the same exact output, no matter which option you choose, right? So that's one of the great things about PDF. It always comes out looking the same. And so those are different ways that I can create PDF from an existing file. And so what I'm also going to show you now is we also will install a plugin into Microsoft Office, right? And so this plugin does the same things that you saw before, plus a couple of new things. Okay, so I can create a PDF from the message that I have selected, from the folder that I'm in. I have the same types of options that we talked about before, but I also have something here called automatic archival. And so a lot of folks like to archive their email. Doing it in Outlook can be a little bit hard to use and hard to find it later because they have certain types of size limitations in Outlook, so they got to be able to archive these things out. And so what you can do is automatically archive your email into PDF. And so I just check this box here. I choose whether I want to do it daily, weekly, or monthly. So let's just say I want to do it every Monday night. And then I can choose what folders here that I want to archive and where I want to archive it. And so this is a great way to archive your Outlook email, and it's a lot simpler than using the archive procedures in Outlook, and it's very easy to search for them later because they're all just PDF files in a directory, and they'll all be searchable as well. Okay, so we talked about different ways to create a PDF. Here's another way, actually, which I use quite frequently, is I can create one from a browser. I can do it from Chrome. I can do it from Firefox, Internet Explorer. Again, this plugin automatically gets created within those browsers when I install Phantom PDF. And from here, I can create a PDF from a web page. And a similar type of capabilities that we looked at before. Why would I want to do this? The reason why I use this all the time is when I'm working with my web team, I create a PDF of the web page, and then I can use the annotations or comment sections to tell them what changes that I want to make in the web page. Or sometimes it's an easy way to share it with others. If I want to save that information, it might be a valuable web page for me, good information, so I want to save it somewhere in a file instead of bookmarking it. And so very frequently used workflow is to convert a web page into a PDF document. So now that we've talked about a lot of different ways to create a file, we'll talk about something different now, which is to create a PDF portfolio. And so a couple different ways that I can do that. But I'm going to choose create a blank portfolio, right? So here I have a blank screen, and I'm going to use drag and drop to make the portfolio. Now what a portfolio is, it's a container that contains multiple files all in one container. And so those files don't have to all be PDFs. They can be different file formats. And if I want to share them with others, either by attaching in an email or providing a link from a web page or a download server, they can only deal with one container instead of multiple things. And so Foxit, we're located, headquartered here in the San Francisco Bay Area in Silicon Valley. And, you know, this area is known a lot for its wine. I grew up in New York and I have a lot of friends there, so maybe I want to share with them some information about wine. So I'm going to do that in a portfolio. And so here I have a PDF, the best wine buys of 2014. So I'm going to drag and drop that into my portfolio. They also might want to come to visit, so I actually have a JPEG of the wineries in Napa Valley. And then some of them want to create their own wine, and so here's a Word document for a home winemaker's manual. And now I can save this as a single entity, and the great thing about it, it's a PDF. And so any PDF reader, free PDF reader that supports portfolios, will be able to open this up, and people that I want to share this with will be able to have the exact same view as we're having right now. And so obviously Foxit Reader supports portfolios, Adobe Reader supports portfolios, and so the likelihood of them having one of those two free readers is very high. And so now as a receiver, I can double click on any of these files, and so here's the PDF that I was looking at. I can double click on the JPEG, and here's the image, and I can double click on the Word document. As long as they have Word installed locally, they can see the Word document as well. So again, a very efficient way to share files in a single container, and actually that container is a PDF, and so everyone that you share it with will know how to use and handle a PDF. Okay, so lots of different things that we created there. And so now let's look at one of the most popular workflows that our end users perform, which is what we call organization. I have my Organize tab here, but one of the things that, like I said, I'm a drag and drop, point and click type of guy. And so on the left-hand side, you have some functionality here as well. And this one right here is a thumbnail view. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to make it a little bit larger. And so for those of you familiar with Microsoft PowerPoint, the slide sorter, this is kind of similar to that. So say I want to change around the order of these pages. So here's the 6th page. I want to drag and drop that over and make it the 2nd. Decide later, not what I want. And so I can take that and move it back over to the 6th page again. So you can move pages around. Now I go into the slide sorter for my Napa Valley Winery map, and I can choose this page right here, drag it over the tab for California wines, and then drop it right in here. So I can drag and drop pages from other PDFs into my new PDF. What I can also do is drag and drop an outside file and include it into my PDF. So here's the Sonoma County Winery map. I can drag and drop that into my page sorter here, and now I have that page as part of my PDF as well. And so again, I have a lot of functionality up here. So I'm a drag and drop point and click guy. So instead of using the menu buttons up at the top, I'm going to right mouse click on this page, and here are all the options that I can do. So one of the things that I can do is duplicate this page, okay, and click OK there. So one of the things I can do is crop. So I'm actually going to use the menu button on this one. Okay, now I'm going to draw a box around the area that I want in my crop, and then double click on it. Hit OK, and now I have my crop page. One of the things that I sometimes do when I scan documents in is that I might put it upside down, or I might want to have a page that's in portrait and make it landscape or vice versa. Right? So I can right mouse click, hit rotate, and say it was upside down and I want to put it right side up. I can say rotate 180 degrees. I just want to do this page, not the whole file. And so I hit OK, and now it's rotated. I can also do things like delete this page, okay, and hit OK, and now that page will be deleted. And so lots of different page manipulation that I can do in Organize. And then when I'm done, I can just hide this view, and I get full screen mode again. And so other things that I can do is add headers and footers. Again, very popular workflow. So I chose another document here. Let me make it a little bit bigger for you. And I will hit headers and footers. And so what I want to do is add, okay, and then my headers and footers screen came up. And so I want to do a center heading, okay, and so I'm going to put in here header text. Okay, here's my header. And in my footer, I want to put in a page number and the date, right? So first I want to click here and I want to specify my format. So as my date, I want to specify month, month, day, day, year, 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 year. Okay. And page format, I want to do one event. Okay. And then I hit OK to that. And then I hit click my left footer and I say insert page number. And then my right footer and say insert date. And then I'll just put in some footer text here. And here's my header and footer. And I have a preview down here so I see what it looks like. Say, okay, that looks good. So let me scroll down here and hit OK. So now you see in the bottom right, it's doing that. So here's my header text. Here's my footer text. Here's my page, and here's my date. And then you see it on the second page as well. And so very easy to do a header and footer. The last thing I'll show you here is, again, something very popular, watermarks. So let me add a watermark. Now, what a lot of people do is they put draft on a document as a watermark. So I'll follow that example. And so I'll put in draft. And for some reason, it's somewhat customary to put it at an angle. So here's draft at an angle. You can also set the opacity. I'm going to make it a little bit lighter to make sure that people can see the text underneath the watermark. So I'll make it a little bit more lighter here. I can also make this bigger. I can change where it is in relative position on the document. But I kind of like it the way that it is right now. I got my preview page here. I like that. So I hit OK. And now we see the watermark is on every page. That's organization. And so the next workflow that we're going to take a look at is annotation, or the comment section. So again, when do I want to comment? If I'm providing feedback on a document to the author, or like I said, if I'm in some kind of conference, a lecture, a class, and I want to take some notes. So let me jump over to another PDF and hit the comment tab. And so the reason why I chose this particular PDF is that it has both text and images. And so that really kind of highlights a lot of the things that you can do in Phantom PDF. And so here I have an image. I have the title, The Sun, and I have my drawing tools here. So let's just say I want to tell the author, you know, you really want to put the title over to the left. So I draw an arrow, and then maybe I'll put a little text box underneath it that says move title to left-hand side. Okay. Also, maybe another type of comment I want to put here. The planets here are distributed or ordered based on distance size, but I want to change it to distance from the sun. So I'll say reorder planets based on the distance from the sun. And so here I can put, literally comments with the images and so forth. And this makes it not only a lot easier for me to provide feedback, but also a lot easier for the author to understand the feedback. Right? So let's go back into comments. Here I have my text markup. And so if there's some text that I want to highlight, I can do that. And then maybe I might want to make a call out and say, change this sentence based on our new findings, right? Other things that I might want to do, for example, is a replace. And so instead of the jovial planets, I can say the inner planets. Okay, I can do that as well. One of the things that'll be handy for a lot of people, I can highlight an area as well, not just text. Okay, that comes in very handy. And also I can write a note. And notes are pretty good if you have lots of long text. I usually use notes for, and one of the reasons is, I have this, not only have this cool little scroll bar, but I can also change the size of it as well. And it's easy to cut and paste this text. And so, the author can easily make my updates. Let's look at a connected workflow, which is to send out a document for review. So typically what we do today, if we have 10 people reviewing, we send out an email with the file attached, and then 10 different people send back 10 different files with their comments in it. And so one, you have to somehow put them all together. And the second is no one can see anybody else's comment. So now I'm going to go into Connect to show you how to do a connected review in order to collaborate with other knowledge workers that you are working with. So I hit the Connect tab, and now I'll go over to a new PDF. So here's a copy of the year 2015 US budget. A lot of input probably went into this. And so I'll set up something called a connected review. With Connected Review, I click this button here, and it brings me through a process where I choose the people that I want to review. I give their email addresses, and it sends them an email with a link. And they all have, click on that link, and they all have access to a single document where they can all provide their comments. And so not only do I have one document with all the comments in it when we're done, but they can see everybody else's comments as well, and therefore be able to collaborate. And so I've already done this with this particular document. And as you can see on the bottom, this document has 218 pages, so it's rather long. So instead of looking through every page to see if there's a comment put on it, I can just go over to the left-hand side and say View Document Comments. And so here is all the comments that everyone in the Connected Review gave. What I can do is just click on any one of these, and it brings me to that page. So I'm going to click on this one, and I'm brought to page 159. And so here I can see a comment from Dee Dee, I can see a comment from Lovell, and I can see a comment from David. All in one place, and they can also see each other's comments. And so it really leads to collaboration. And so that's a great way to use collaboration to make your documents better. Okay, so now that we've done our review, we might want to go back to the document now and edit it to update it based on the feedback that we received. And so to do that, we'll go over to the Edit tab. And I'm going to look at another file here that will be a little bit more interesting in terms of the advanced features that Phantom PDF has for editing. So this is an interesting page to edit. And before we get into editing, just kind of what Foxit's philosophy is with Phantom PDF in terms of editing. Typically when we create a document, we might want to use Word to create some content. Then another person usually uses something like layout software, FrameMaker or whatever to lay it out. And then we use PDF to share it. And then over time that document changes as a living document. And now we have 3 different file formats. And to make changes and keep the 3 different file formats in sync is difficult to do and takes a lot of time. So we want to provide the power to the knowledge worker to say, hey, once you have it in PDF, you can do all your edits in there. If you want to change text, you want to change the layout, things like that, you can use Phantom PDF to do all those things. So once you have it in PDF, you can keep it in PDF, and you don't have to worry about all those different file formats. So let's take a look at that. So first thing I'm going to do is hit Edit Text, and you see what Phantom does. It'll draw a gray box around all the text boxes, as we call them, that it identified it on this page. So you see there's a number of them. And so I want to edit some content in this first paragraph right here, this first column, but we want that to reflow into the other 2 columns. Not affect anything else, just the other 2 columns. And so what I want to do is be able to link those things together. So I'm going to say link and join text. I'm going to hit that button. So I'm going to click on the first column. It calls it a 1. Then the second column, then the third. And I'm going to say link. So now you see 1 of 1, 1 of 2, 1 of 3. So now as I edit one of these columns, everything will reflow into the others. So I'll hit close and go back into edit. And so now you see instead of a gray box, it's an orange box. So that signifies to us that these are linked together. And so now if I want to add a new sentence, so add new sentence here with some more text or content, we see that the information flows to the other columns, which is what we want. And so that's a great way to be able to update information on a page. You can also reflow it to the next page and flow from one page to the other. And so now one of the things that I did here is I kind of messed up my columns a little bit, and so I might want to do some layout changes. And so I can do that as well. And so if I put my cursor over this text box, over the little box, I can make this wider. I can make it narrower, and I can move the whole text box itself. And so I can change the layout of the document. And so that's really valuable. And again, it allows me to kind of edit PDF like a word processor as well as layout software, right? And so now there's some other things that I would like to do here. And so, so let me choose this first sentence here, and what I can do is I can change the font. I can change the font size. I can make it bold. I can make it italics. I can underline it. Okay. I can use a line through. Okay. I can change the color. Okay. So let me make it unbold so you can see the color there. I mean unselect it to see the color. I can make the text centered, or I can make it left justified. I can indent it, okay, or remove the indent. I can even change the line spacing. I can do all these type of things just like a word processor. If I want to add something like a footnote, right, I can put, say, 2 in here and make it a superscript and add the footnote, or a subscript. All these different things that I can do just like a word processor. If I want to add bullets to this, right, I can hit the bullet key, bullet function, right, and add bullets. Again, just like a word processor. So one of the other things that I can do is edit what we call objects within the PDF as well. So I'm going to hit Edit Object and choose All. So let's just say I want to move this black circle. And so I can choose the circle, okay, and I can move it down, for example, okay, and I can delete the original one. Now I can take all this text and move it down within the new area of where the circle is. So lots of different powerful things that I can do to update a PDF, to change it, because like I said, most documents are live documents and they constantly need to be updated. So now that we edited our document and we're ready to publish it and share it with other people, so now we want to do things like protect it and understand what people are using within the document, those type of things. And so let's take a look at that. And so let's look at protection first. And so I'm going to choose a new PDF here. And this one's actually a report from the CIA, right? So this is something maybe we want to protect. So again, I go back into Connect. And so I can protect this document very straightforward and easily right within Phantom PDF. And so I can go to Connect and hit the Protect Document button. So I've already done so. And here is the rights that I have. So I provided rights to 2 people, so only these 2 people can look at it. And what I'll do is I'll close this up, and I'll hit the what's called the document home page, and I'll hit permissions. And now I can see the 2 people that I gave permissions to look at this document. And so for Lovell, I can edit his permissions. So I didn't allow him to print. I can allow him to print. I can also, what changes and so forth that he can make, whether he can copy stuff, whether he can generate offline copies, whether I want to put an expiration date to his permissions. And I can always add new users to the permission list. One of the things that's also great about document protection in Phantom PDF is that if someone gets this document, they don't have permission, so they can't open it, but they're like, I really need this, so I want to ask for permission to be able to view this document. And so you can do that. An end user can, when they try to open the document, it'll say, hey, it's protected. Would you like access? And they can fill out a form basically right in the document, and I, as the author, will get a message that says, here's Dee Dee, here's the document that she wants access for, here's the permissions that she requested, and I can either approve that or I can reject it. And so very easy to request permissions, and then as an author you can decide whether you want to grant access or not. So while we're in the document homepage, there's some other great things that we can look at. And one of them is events. And events will tell you all the actions that have been applied to this document. So you see, it's only been me lately. And one of the things that I've done here is I've opened the document. It's a protected document. I made a revision, a change to the document. Okay, I saved that new document, and then I created a new version. And so all the events, not just for myself, but anyone who does anything to this document, all the events will be recorded. So this is great business intelligence for your document so you can understand how people are using it. And then one of the other things that I can look at, I can go to versions, right? And here I see the original version, and I can click on that and see a copy of it. Or here is my new version. And people who have access to this document can also go back and look at old versions as well. And when I create a new version, I can also send a message to all the users of this document that says, hey, there's a new version available. Do you want to download it? Do you want to look at it? So again, a great way to collaborate as well as secure documents. Let's look at other ways to secure documents. So let me go into Protect. And I'm also going to go into this W-9 form. And the reason being there's some cool information in here, right? So one is the Social Security number. And so say I wanted to share this document, but I didn't want to show the Social Security number. I wanted to hide that. So just let me fill it in right now. I'll just fill it in with, ones. And now I want to share this document, but I want to hide the Social Security number. What sometimes people do, they go into comments and they draw a box around it. That's not really too smart because I can always remove that box, even if you flatten it. If I'm a smart guy, I can see what's underneath there. So what I want to do is redact it. Go into Protect and say Mark for a redaction. It gives me instructions. I can click here to not see them again. I hit OK, and now I draw a box around what I want to redact. Then I hit Apply Redactions. It says, hey, sure you want to do that? Because once you do it, no one can see what's underneath that information. So again, I can hit a Don't Ask again, but I'll hit OK. And now nobody, no matter how smart they are, can see what's underneath that black box. And so I can also configure my redaction. Instead of black, I can make it white and say redacted information, or however way I want to make the redaction look. But basically now it's secure and people won't be able to see what my Social Security number is. Another way to protect a document, which most people don't think of protection, is to sign it. Because usually signatures come with some rights associated to it. So if I sign a contract, I might say, hey, with my digital signature, nobody can edit this later. Because I don't want to sign a contract and have someone change like the price or something like that to it later. So I go into Protect, and here is where I can place a digital signature. Here is where I can use DocuSign, okay, where it uploads a document to the DocuSign cloud, and I can sign it and send it there. Or I can use something called PDF Sign, which what I've done was have my actual handwritten signature here. I password protected it, so in case someone gets access to my system, they can't sign documents for me. So I hit OK, and now I can sign the document in my own handwriting. And what this is great for, if you have to, like again, fill out a form, or I do it when I approve expenses and things like that. So I don't have to print out the document, sign it myself, scan it back in, and then the scan is too big, so then I got to compress it. I can just, quickly and easily sign it and then apply it. And now my signature is on this document. So very quick and easy to use. So again, if I go into Protect, how do I do this? I click this button right here, and I can create signatures. And when I hit Create, I can draw it if you have a screen that supports that. Or you can use your mouse to do it. I can import a file, which is what I did, where I signed a blank piece of paper, scanned it in, cropped it, and then I imported it. You can cut and paste from a clipboard, or you can type in your signature and you get something like this right here, or something like this right here. And then I can also require a password to use this signature, right? And so therefore, again, if someone gets access to my system, they can't just sign documents for me without knowing that password. And the last thing in Protect I'll show you is Password Protect. And so again, this is very highly used. And there's two password protection mechanisms, right? The first one, I check this box right here. I input a password, and only people who know the password can open the document. Otherwise, it's encrypted. The second thing that I can do, and these two things are totally independent of each other, you can do one, the other, or both, is actually document restrictions. And so since I unchecked this box, anybody can open it, but or else you have the password, you have these restrictions in terms of what you can do with the document. And so I check my permissions here, and so click this button and say, no, I don't want anybody to print it. The only changes people can make are they can comment it. That's it. And then I hit OK, and you see printing none, copying not allowed, changes, only comments, and form filling. And so again, one is whether they can open it to read it, okay, and then they get full access. The other one is they can open it, but they have restricted access or rights, okay, or I can do both. They need a password to open it, and if they don't have the password, they have these restrictions. And so again, that's a pretty common way in which people protect their PDF document. So the last thing I'll show you today is extracting information out of PDF. So I showed you before how you can cut and paste information out of a PDF and put it into any different file format that you want. However, if I want to take this whole document and put it in Word, I might not want to cut and paste everything. And so I'll go back to Convert, and here's the Export section. So I can export to images, to HTML, to text, either rich or plain, or to Microsoft Office. So I choose to Word. I give it a place to store it and a name, and I hit Save, and now it's converting this document into Word. Okay, so you see it working, and now it opens up, and here is that document in Word now. And I can edit it, do whatever I want using all the capabilities within Microsoft Word. So I'd like to thank you for your time today in terms of viewing this webinar. I hope you learned more about Foxa Phantom PDF. So if you have any questions, different things that you can do. So one is you can go to the Start page, and at the bottom of the Start page, there's tutorials that you can look at, or you can hit the View All button, and you'll be brought to the tutorial page on our website. Also, you can go to Company, and you can go to Webinars, and here you can view a archive of the demonstration of this webinar. And so you can go to the webinar page and see an archive. Or you can call us, support, and again, to access support, again, on your Start page, here's the phone number, or to create an online trouble ticket. So again, thank you for your time today, and enjoy the rest of your day.